Welcome everybody to the HubSpot user group event from SEO to AEO. This is a webinar series, and today we're talking about the rise of FAQs. They ask you answer in the AI era. Very excited to talk about this today. Like I said before, make sure you introduce yourselves in the chat so we know who you are, where you're connecting from, your company, your position. We want to learn about each other and help each other here. I'm here to help as much as possible, but I know you guys help each other too. This is a whole community, so let's keep going. So we have a question of the day today. I'm going to post it in the chat. As you go on this transition from SEO to AEO, we'll talk about all of this today. We'll give a recap of all the events we've been going through last year, the shift from SEO to AEO. But what are some of the gaps you have seen? What are some of the questions, the issues that you have? What are some of the things that we should be covering in this series? We want to learn from you. If you have anything to share now or throughout the presentation, please let me know. We want to make sure that we create this for you so you continue to grow and learn. So again, thank you for sharing this. If you want to share it in the chat, what are some of the things that you have questions about? And we'll talk about a lot of things today, so you might not have questions today, but you might have questions later. Please answer this question. Again, the more you guys share what you are missing, what's not working for you, what's missing in your strategy, the better these series of webinars from SEO to AEO are going to continue to evolve and be. So let's keep going. So thank you again, guys, for connecting, and continue to introduce yourselves. I'm Gabriel Marguglio. I'm the CEO and founder of Nextiny Marketing. We are a 23-year-old HubSpot agency. We are a HubSpot solution partner in the platinum level, and we specialize in everything HubSpot. We only do websites in HubSpot, HubSpot implementations, marketing and sales alignment. We do video marketing through HubSpot and HubSpot integrations like Wistia. And we run events with the HubSpot Academy and the HubSpot user group events. And this is one of those events. And this is a series of webinar series called From SEO to AEO. And it's everything you need to know to go from search engine optimization to optimizing for search engines and AI. I'm going to share some links as I go through the presentation. Here's my LinkedIn and our website so you guys can connect. We have put, because we've done this series since October, we've been running this series. We've been learning a lot, teaching a lot, going through everything we need to do, doing it for our own clients. So everything that we've done, we put it in this guide. So there's a From SEO to AEO guide, becoming the answer in search and AI. I definitely recommend you guys download this one. It's a free, of course, it's a free guide, and definitely helps you put together a plan for the next 3 months. I love that people keep connecting and introducing themselves. Alexis, Olivia, Rashesh, good stuff, guys. And please keep sharing the questions. So definitely we'll go back to this. The other thing we want to share is we also have an audit. So if you're ready to go, but you don't know where to start, we can help you. We have an SEO AEO audit package. We work with you for 2 months, 20 hours. We get everything you need to get started, plan the strategy, and then you can take it from there, or we can work together. So let us know if there's anything that we can do to help there. I share the links also in the chat. This is a webinar series, like I mentioned. So here's the link for all the recordings. We've run like 8 events in the last 3-4 months. And I'm going to share some links from articles that, capture most of the value from those events and have the recordings. But here's the link for the recordings. The next event is From SEO to AEO Schema Made Simple. It's all about the coding and everything that goes behind the scenes. Then we have another one about authenticity and how video can help you build trust with AI. We have another one for AI tools every HubSpot marketer should master. And this is just January and February. We're going to do 2 events every month. I'll share the links here for the next events so everybody can register. And we're about done with housekeeping. So Today, we're going to talk about, first of all, every time I do these events, I do a simple, 2-minute review of why we're doing this, why we're talking about this, the shift from SEO to AEO, what that means for companies and how that's affecting client acquisition. We're also going to talk about, go right into the FAQ and the ask you answer part of the presentation, why FAQs win with AI search, building the FAQ content engine, and then scaling using HubSpot, and how to test visibility, which is very important. And again, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please let me know. So I'll go very quickly through what we talked about in the last 3-4 months, what we've learned from everything we've been doing with ourselves, with clients, what we are seeing in AI, and how these shifts are changing client acquisition. So first of all, search isn't just links anymore, it's answers. With AI, you have AI overviews, ChatGPT, and other engines like Perplexity and Claude. This is changing discovery. And it's not just discovery, this affects the whole buyer's journey, because people are making decisions and considering different brands and different products and they're comparing you with other solutions, other products, and they're making a decision through sales, also through AI. So how do we stay visible in an answer first world and not a search first world? So first of all, the shift have increased these numbers. This was already happening for Google, with Google and Google changes in the past years. 60% of Google searches now are 0 clicks, which means people are not clicking through to your website. So they're getting the information in Google. Now with AI, it's even higher. And also 70% of B2B buyers complete their decision journey before contacting sales. So people not only have your website and Google like they had before, which was a lot already to make decisions and to make most of the process of being on their own without you. But now with AI, they have even more tools to compare you, to find pricing, to dig deeper, to do research. Now, the good news about this is that the leads that are coming through are 3 times as much higher conversion into clients when they come from LLMs. So, so what we're seeing is that even though you might be losing some traffic from Google because AI is taking care of that, the leads that are coming from AI are more qualified. They're closing at a higher rate, and AI is becoming the new homepage. But don't freak out, because again, Google is still 210 times bigger than ChatGPT in search. And I'm going to tell you something we have seen. Even though there was a lot of traffic moving into AI, we have seen Google traffic, a revival in Google traffic, because Google's AI has become so much better and Gemini has become so much better. And now Google not only gives you the answer, which is much, much better than it was in the beginning. We all remember how bad it was to try to get an answer from Google AI on the search, but also the sources are much, much better. So that's why Google's still very, very important. Now, what we've also seen, like I said before, is the old funnel was thousands of visits from Google, and this is great. You get 4,000 visits from Google, 42 leads, and that turns into a client. That's amazing. That was good enough. That was 1 to 2% conversion rate, 2 point something percent closing rate. That works, right? Now, in this same case, in this same frame, like at same time, we got 90 visits in this portal from AI referrals, and this is all from HubSpot data, 2 leads, and from those 2 leads, 1 of them turned into a client. So we're seeing higher closing rate, even though the volume is not there. So this is something to keep in mind as you're doing this, quality over quantity, right? And again, it's not just the discovery and search and where leads are coming from and where clients are coming from, but people are using AI throughout the whole buyer's journey. Of course, SEO is not dead. SEO is not dead. Lazy SEO is dead, And this is a funny picture that shows how the SEO industry has grown as we continuously declare it dead every year, every time there's a new change. This is a joke in the industry. So answer engine optimization is the solution to this, but it's all based on great SEO plus layers of AI optimization. And again, I'm going to share these articles that we've put together from SEO to AEO, answer engine optimization, how AI is changing client acquisition. This is from our first event in October. We have another one specific about videos. This is just so you have all the resources to get up to date in whatever questions you may have from that. And we also made a 2026 plan, which has a review of that guide that I shared before. It's all about what you need to do week to week for 3 months. And these are all articles we put together from the events that we run. So this is kind of like an update on everybody on what's going on, what we have seen. Any questions? And I'm going to make sure that I check the questions that we have from the beginning on our question of the day. Our question of the day was, as you move from SEO to AEO, what is your biggest gap right now? What do you most want to learn or implement right now? And what topics should we cover in the future to make sure that we help you through this process? So I see, how do you know what questions people are asking around our industry, in your industry? And Gorman asked that question. So first of all, we're going to talk a little bit about that, where the questions come from. And the questions come from real conversations. Yes, you can do some research, and AI is a great tool to do research, but we'll talk about the easiest way to find those questions is talking to humans, and we'll get there. Just remember, having AI doesn't mean that we don't talk to humans anymore. On the contrary, the brands that are going to win in 2026 are not the ones that use the most AI, are the ones that are the most human in this whole change. So tips for being ready to be picked up by AEO. We'll definitely talk about some tips and tricks. What tools and platforms do you use to translate your keywords to relate queries for content optimization? Definitely, we'll talk about some of the tools and some of the strategies. So this is great. Metrics and KPIs to track AEO. We'll talk a little bit about this today. So this is great that you guys share already some of these questions. We'll go through them today. If you have any other questions, please put them in the chat and we'll go through them here. So why FAQs? Why AI? What does AI love FAQs? Why does AI love questions and answers, right? And what you need to understand is that, first of all, we all know that AI is there to answer questions. So if you make it easy for AI to take those questions and answers, this is just like when we do SEO. And by the way, AEO, you need to have a great SEO to have AEO. So your website needs to be fast, your content needs to be optimized, your H1 tags, your titles, your meta descriptions, your keywords, all of this is still the base of AEO. But on top, you need to make sure that now, not only we do Google's life easier, but now we make AI's life easier. At the end of the day, SEO is all about helping Google find the information the fastest as possible, the easiest as possible, with the best structure, and making sure that the topic is correct, the intent is correct. All those things, we're doing the same thing for AI. So for AI wants to answer questions right away, and with short answers to specific questions. So AI models evaluate expertise through questions. And they prefer structured questions and answer blocks. They prefer the question and the answer, and the question and the answer, other than you giving a whole article where it's vague or you have to read the whole thing to understand the answer. Understanding that AI wants that chunk of text, the specific answer, the quick answer, right after the question is important, because that's how you're going to structure your content in the future. And they surface brands that are answering real buyers' questions. And it all has to do with the content itself, answering your ideal client's questions. And that's why we're going to talk about the ask you answer. And then having authority and sending the right signals to AI to pick up this content and to say, okay, not only they're answering the questions, but we can trust these people as an authority, right? And if you don't answer the specific questions, AI will skip your content and won't show it up as a source. So long story short, we've been using the Ask You Answer for, I'm going to say 10 years now, I think. And we use the Ask You Answer as one of the methodologies that we believe in and that we do marketing and we do content marketing for our clients and ourselves. The Ask You Answer is a very simple concept. As the name says it, your ideal clients ask questions and you answer them. Now, we'll talk about how and which questions and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if you are creating content that has the answers to those questions and you have proof of that answer, so the answer is very clear, concise, and it is an actual real question from your ideal clients. And then the proof, you can give videos, statistics, real examples, testimonials, whatever expertise you have in the matter, or whatever stats you can share. Those two things, the question and answer and the trust signals, are what's going to get you inside AI. Now, the Ask You Answer is all about answering your ideal clients' questions, mainly the ones that, first of all, most of our ideal clients ask, your competitors don't want to answer, and the things that are defining, that are connected to the intent of your ideal clients. So if you want to go through it, in this graphic, you can see is who's asking, what do they want to know, and then you answer why you, and how will you help, right? So this framework allows you to, first of all, define the questions and the answers, but also make sure you answer the courageous things like pricing and comparisons and what things don't work. And, that is what makes you real, and it makes you trustworthy in the eyes of AI and people. That's why I said the people that, and the companies that become more human are the ones that are going to win, not the ones that become more robotic, is because AI is going to read your content. But if you don't have the right signals saying, this is how we did it, and these are the statistics, and this is the before and after, and this is a video showing it how to do it, and this is me talking about it, and these are clients asking questions and me answering them. If you don't send the right signals because you're real, and these are real clients asking questions, then AI won't trust the answer. And we'll get to that in a second. So we'll also get where you get these questions in a second too. But at the end of the day is which questions your ideal clients are asking about what their problem is, what their issues are, and what the solution is, and then why you are an authority. And this is also combined with another framework that we use, which is the StoryBrand methodology. StoryBrand is all about knowing your messaging, understanding who you're solving this for, and very, very clearly defining what the issue is, what the solution is, and why you're an authority in the solution. If you combine these two methodologies, you can definitely create content that's going to be showcased by AI. And to answer one of the questions that we got today is, where do you get these questions? Where do you get questions that your ideal clients ask? First of all, your sales team. Your sales team is answering these questions every single day. So you should have a blog article for each one of the top 10 questions your salespeople get every day. So go to your salespeople, or if you're the salesperson, you get these questions every day. If you have recordings of your sales meetings, if you can go back to meeting notes, go there. People are constantly asking you specific questions that help them decide if you can solve their problem, if you have a solution for that problem, and if you're the right person and company for that solution. Those questions are critical. And it's not just how much is it or why does this work? It's specific questions about what technology you use, what methodologies you use, what does it mean to be a good fit, You know, how do you do this? And again, the how you do things is very important. Some companies are like very, you know, they don't want to share their secret sauce, and that's, and again, I understand if you created something that is proprietary, you don't want to share that. I understand that most companies are just doing simple things, a lot of simple things that turn into a complex thing that solves for a problem. And if you can explain your complex solution or product in simple terms, and you can answer your ideal client's questions, and they can identify themselves with that problem and that solution, and you as an authority, you're definitely going to get more people coming to that content, more people engaging with you on webinars and videos and all the different things you're going to do in social media. And we'll talk about social media in a second too, because you're going to understand what they're asking. So ask your salespeople, what are the top questions that you get all the time? Every salesperson should have a top 10 questions. And if you create content for those salespeople, even if discovery is not going to be, let's just say that content never gets any eyeballs from Google or AI. At least what you did is you created content that your salespeople can use every day to answer those questions and remove friction from the sales process. So the minimum you're going to get is a better, less friction sales process. If you can create a video, if you can create a blog article, if you can run a webinar on those questions, then people can actually share that blog. Your salespeople can share that blog, share that video, share that webinar recording with your ideal potential clients to close more business. So that can affect your decision making at the end of the journey, the buyer's journey, right away. And then trust me, if you're actually answering your ideal client's questions, that will also show up in AI, because you're doing exactly what AI wants you to do, which is answer people's questions. Of course, not only sales, but also if you're running webinars through, you know, with your clients, or like in this public webinars, webinars are a perfect place to get questions. You already asked me 4 or 5 questions. These are my ideal clients' questions. Like, where do I find the questions? How do I source these? What are the KPIs? These are my ideal clients' questions. You literally just ask them. So webinars are a great source of your ideal clients' questions. And again, it could be an internal webinar. It can be like when you run a webinar to train your employees, they're going to ask you questions about how they need to do things and things like that. It could be an external webinar like this one, a public one as a marketing asset. It could be a sales webinar with potential clients. It could be a customer webinar where you're training your clients. That training also can be reused for marketing and sales materials. Any questions so far? Let me know. Of course, email threads with prospects, you know, support tickets. Again, support tickets, if you're running support for any of your products or services and you have tickets, or live chat logs, which a lot of this information is, by the way, in HubSpot, you can capture those questions and turn them into either short questions in an FAQ page, a full blog article, a full webinar about it. This webinar series came from questions from our clients at the beginning of 2025 when they were like, what is going on with SEO? What are we going to do with AI? How are you changing content? Literally, the whole webinar series came about because of those questions from our current clients. CRM notes, deal comments, your sales process is filled with these questions. So go dig deeper into your HubSpot portal. Try to understand what your salespeople see. Customer service people, like support tickets, are always also answering your ideal clients' questions. Your clients are asking questions. Those are the same questions that your potential clients will have to decide if you are the right solution for this. Any questions, guys? All right, let me know if you have any questions in the chat. We'll keep going, and then we can revisit this more. And if I didn't answer the question on where you get the questions, please let me know. So how do we build an FAQ content engine? And this, I've talked about this in many of the webinars that we've had. I love the idea of running webinars or running videos or running podcasts where you have people. that are asking you questions, because this is literally one of the best sources, live with other humans. I'm a human talking to humans, and the humans are asking me questions, and I'm answering again. This is the best kind of question and the best kind of FAQ source, because AI values the trust that comes from humans talking to humans and doing the real thing. We are helping real clients. We're helping real humans. We are educating as much as possible. We're doing things and we're showing them in our webinars. This makes us trustworthy in your eyes. Therefore, AI takes that into consideration. It makes us trustworthy for AI. So if you can run webinar series, if you can run video series, we've done a lot of video series in the past with our clients, where they had like Tech Tuesdays, and they would answer someone's question or explain how the product works every Tuesday or whatever. And then that series becomes a blog, which includes those questions and how to do things. And we'll talk about the structure and how you need to structure these questions and answers, and how you use FAQs, not just on your website, but on your blogs and on your social media posts and all that stuff. But sourcing it from video and from real human interactions is the best way you can do it, because you have the text from the transcript, you have the video content that gives that trust signal to AI, and you can use all of this in combination to make it even more successful. You can create blog articles, FAQ sections, landing pages, knowledge-based articles. You can create all kinds of assets from video and webinars. Now, how do you need to structure these questions and answers? And this could work in an FAQ page. This could work as the structure of your blog, where you have multiple questions and you're answering about one main question, right? You need an H2. You need a title that has the actual question. You need 40 to 60 words answering in one paragraph. And this structure is very important, because if you make it longer, then AI can't just take that piece of the puzzle and just use it. So you want to make it easy for AI. You want to answer the whole question in 40 to 60 words right after it. That's why, for example, when you're creating a blog, and we'll talk about that in a second, the first 40 to 60 words of the blog should be what the blog is all about. Not just an intro to the blog, but what the blog is all about. A complete review of the blog in 40 to 60 words, because that helps AI pick up that content. Now, supporting bullet points are very important. It makes it easy for AI to just take individual things out of it, or lists. Lists and tables are amazing for AI. AI loves that, because it's easy for AI to take that and parse that content and take that content. So then use data points. And some of my team members are like, okay, hold on. We have a doctor that does knee surgeries, right? How are we going to what kind of data? This is not analytics. What kind of data are we going to include in a blog about knee surgery? And I was like, okay, how many surgeries do they do it every year? I don't know, 100 or 1,000. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, success rate. Oh, 99.5 success rate. Okay, what happened with the one that wasn't successful? Like, write an article about the success rate of all your knee surgeries, the problems and complications you can get, what happened on that one that wasn't successful. This is the most real piece of content you can get. And I just gave an example out of, something that our team was like struggling about. And I'm like, just find the numbers, use the numbers, give the data, the source where those numbers are coming from, and then show the reasons why things are this way or that way. Data points are very important. If you can find stats online to support your argument, is very important. Also, this needs to come from you. It can't just be content from AI. You can't just go to ChatGPT and say, create FAQs for someone that does this, because AI knows that this came from AI, and it's not your point of view, which is the most important thing. People will trust you and your company and your solution because you have a point of view. Your point of view is important. You're a human that has done certain things, that has specific experience, and you're sharing that experience. That is what AI wants to know from you, not the same old that everybody's writing out there. And then connect the dots between the questions. So if you're writing one full article and you have, these specific topics, these specific questions, connect those questions in a way that makes sense for humans, not just a list of questions. And we'll go about that in a second. The other thing is, when you're writing an article, the article could be top 10 questions we get about this, and that could be an easy one. But if you're writing an article about a whole topic, and the structure of the sections is mainly questions and answer. Not everything has to be a question and an answer, but you try to answer questions in each one of the sections. Then make sure that you also add a section, when it makes sense, as an FAQ section at the bottom of your blog. So before you go to the call to action and the bio for the author and stuff like that, have an FAQ section where you have all the Q&A from that specific topic. If this was a webinar, this is the perfect example, where you have the webinar recording, the blog about what you talked about, and then an FAQ section with questions that people ask on the webinar. And then make sure you do the schema, and we'll talk about schema in a second. But adding an FAQ section on a blog actually helps that blog rank better in AI and parse those questions and answers from AI. And how do you make sure that the AI understands this, and why AI understands this better? Because that initial 40 to 60 section, it gives AI a summary that it can quote in the top of their answer, right? Then the question is it's a ready-made answer block that can use for the whole thing. So when you answer something to AI can just take the whole block and answer with the little answer, the bullet points, the sources, and all the information that you're giving it. The bullets are easy to scan and extract. The FAQs it uses conversational content, which is very important when you're writing your articles and you're writing your piece of content and in your pages. Using conversational content and conversational text is recommended, and that's why questions and answers also help. And having a bio adds the trust and the credibility and all those things. And again, I'm not talking about blogs only, but blogs are one of the perfect places to use this. We'll talk about social media in a second. This could be also about FAQs you add at the bottom of your service pages, or when you have an FAQ page per se, make sure you use this and you answer this the way that I'm talking about, with the structure that we're talking about. Schema is how you tell AI what things are. And we didn't talk a lot about entities in this webinar, and I recommend you check our articles about it. But when you talk about AI, entities are very important. What is an entity? It's like keywords, but with context. So for example, if you are talking about Apple as a word, it could mean many things. But Apple Inc., the company, it's the word Apple, the keyword Apple, with the context that this is the actual company. Apple, the fruit, is a different entity. So entities are your services, your products, your industry, the softwares that you use, your methodologies. So what are my entities? HubSpot, they ask you answer, StoryBrand, marketing, at Google Analytics, whatever names and nouns are connected. Gabriel Marguglio, Nextiny marketing. All these things are entities related to me. Think about those entities. And when you create the content, what schema does is connects the content with the entities and defines the entities very clearly. For example, if you have an author or an organization or an article, you're defining those entities for AI. You're making it easier for Google and AI to actually understand what you're talking about. So if you set up the schema, which is coding that you can create for your website and your blogs and your content, and you define the author, then actually Google and AI knows that this article is now written by Gabriel Marguglio. So the good news is that if you're using HubSpot, most of this is already done. When you check your schema, which we'll talk about it in our next event, you can see that by just using HubSpot as your website, and if you use other CMSs also, some of them do it too, but HubSpot is incredible about this, and that's why HubSpot is already better as a CMS than anything else. If you're using HubSpot, a lot of this is already done. If you're using the blog, the author is there, the organization is there. If you put in a footer with name of the company, address, and phone, all that information is being taken into a local organization schema content. So all of this is done for you. The article for the blogs. The video object comes from your embeds. If you're embedding a video, that should have a video object. We use Wistia, for example, which integrates beautifully with HubSpot, and the schema is already there to tell Google and AI that this is a video, and this is the name of the video, this is the transcript of the video, et cetera, et cetera. Now, FAQ page is a type of schema that you can create when you have an FAQ. So you can actually go to ChatGPT and say, these are my questions and answers. You literally copy paste the whole FAQ section, create a schema for this section. And it'll give you the code like it shows right there that you can copy paste on your heading in the settings on that blog or page. And that will become the schema that the coding that AI will read to not only understand the text, but now understand that this is a question, this is an answer, this is a question, this is an answer. And it defines it that way, and you can test it. Again, we're going to talk more about schema in a couple of weeks in our next event, but definitely I wanted to review this with you guys. Any questions so far? And I know I don't want to get too technical. We'll go through that next in our next event. How AEO and AI help on campaigns. Well, first of all, campaigns require leads to come to those campaigns, visits, right? And your visit sources are going to be Google and paid ads and social media. Well, now you have an AI referrals source. It's another source, Kike, for your campaigns. So in order to bring visits to your website, to your landing pages, to your downloadables, for people to read your content and engage with you so they can understand if you can solve their problem, the source, first of all, there's a new source, which is AI referrals. So AEO, which is answer engine optimization, helps you increase visits from that source because you're going to be quoted in AI. Your link is going to be included in AI. You'll show up on Google on the AI sources on the right. So it becomes another source of visits and leads and potential clients. That's number one. Now, campaigns are all about converting those visits into leads, turning those leads into marketing qualified leads, turning those marketing qualified leads into sales qualified leads, and turning those sales qualified leads into actual clients. That is a whole buyer's journey. Now, what people are missing with AEO is that AEO doesn't only help visibility for discovery, so you have a new source, but AEO helps throughout the whole journey because you have people coming back to the website. You have people asking questions after they met you. They talk to your salespeople. They're going to go back to AI, and they're going to be comparing you with other solutions and other softwares and other products and other services. So AEO now helps your whole buyer's journey, not just discovery, but people will be comparing you and validating you throughout their whole journey. So AEO is critical for marketing and sales to continue to move people through that funnel. I don't know if that answered the question, Kike, but definitely we see throughout campaigns the source being assisted by AI sources, but also throughout the campaign when people convert and they have to come back and you send them an email, all those things, they're going to go back to AI and check. They're going to go back to AI and validate you on everything you say and your solution to their problem. So these are some examples of answers from AI that came from FAQs. One is about how HubSpot users can use AI, AEO on the loop marketing framework. The other one is about how HubSpot users, and you can see on the sources on the right is our articles and the questions and answers that we answer there from our articles. Another a simple one that we found out is showing up everywhere is our webinar is good for AEO. And this is the content that this is a question in one of our articles that is showing up on the first page of Google, is showing up as the answer on the AI answer, and is showing up as the video and as the social post. And I'll show that in a second. This is all us, the social post, the YouTube video, and the blog. And the answer is all us at the top of Google. This is AI at its best, and this is AEO at its best. So I show social media. So the question is, how do we use social media to create the right signals? Because we talked about how video creates the right signals, but how do you use that video? Yes, running the webinars. Yes, putting the video on your website pages. Yes, putting the video on your blog articles and including that content optimized for AI and the FAQs and question and answer chunks of topics. But you can do the same thing on your social media strategy. You can post question and answer posts, a question and then the answer to that question, and maybe a video or a piece of content that is adding to that answer. We have been testing this on LinkedIn, and we see continuously, you see signals that not only this is helping the content that we're linking on LinkedIn and helping more engagement on LinkedIn, but even with posts that have not too much engagement. I'm not talking about thousands of views and hundreds of clicks or shares or anything like that. I'm talking about simple posts with question and answer with 2-3 shares, 2-3 likes, and 200-300 impressions. And these posts are now becoming the answer in AI models. Especially Google. Google is using this, but LinkedIn is one of the top sources now. You have, websites and videos, but Reddit is also another one because AI loves conversations between people. LinkedIn is one of the top sources now for answers with AI. So if you see this, what you can see is that we posted how to create your content engine loop was the question. And then it was a post with a little video from one of my webinars. And if you say that same question on Google, the LinkedIn post with my video is the source where the answer came from. And this happens over and over again. Even with some that I didn't even try to do this. I was talking about, how we received a review, and it was about someone that called us patient and kind. And literally I went to Google to see, patient, kind, HubSpot agency. And literally the answer is the review and the LinkedIn post showing that review. Another one, are webinars effective for AEO, right? And again, look at this, 155 impressions, 300 impressions, 500 impressions. These are not highly successful LinkedIn posts on their own, but they become the answer because we're answering a specific question. And the answer is the LinkedIn post itself. Sabine, you said adding a video to the FAQ, what content should be in the video? So what I would recommend is sourcing the FAQ from the video and then taking snippets. First of all, if you're writing a blog article, for example, and the blog article comes from the transcript of a webinar, you can include the video with the whole webinar at the top. That's one way to use the video. The other thing is taking snippets, like I was showing before here. This is a snippet that talks about the content engine loop. And this is just 1 minute from my webinar, from a webinar just like this one. I took a 1-minute snippet that I talk about specifically how the content engine loop works, put that video and answer the question. Now, when you're talking about adding video to the FAQs, if you have video answers for those questions, put them in the FAQ section. So question, answer, video, question, answer, video. Amazing. And if you have that and you do it professional too, it doesn't have to be just a webinar. It could be a video that you put together for an answer. Share those with sales, because sales will use those videos to answer questions. A lot of sales teams have, a repository of a bunch of videos that answer their ideal clients' questions, so they can share those videos on emails and make it more human how they're answering questions, not just putting text in there. I don't know if that answers the question, Sabine. So again, social media, very powerful to use question and answer types of posts that then are taken as the source for AI. Now, how do you scale this? How do you, test this? How do you understand visibility on this? First of all, HubSpot has a great AEO grader that they put together. I'm going to share the link here because it's been an amazing tool. So the AEO grader, what it does, you can put the name of your company, you can put your industry, you can put your services and your location. If you think about it, again, we didn't talk about entities a lot in this one, but those are your entities: your location, your name, your services, in your, your location, your name, your services, and your industry. These are all entities related to you. That's the AEO grader link. It actually does an analysis and it compares ChatGPT, OpenAI, Gemini, and Perplexity, the three top AI LLMs that people are using for this. And it tells you how you're doing, how your entities are doing, if you have good signals for authority, where are the gaps, and what things you can do to start improving that. Now, you can use this and change the service and change the name of the service and change those entities to understand how you're doing on all of these different ones. And then record this so you understand where you are when you start doing all of this. The second thing that I always recommend is not only doing this, but doing it manually. We'll talk about that in a second. What's great about this is that HubSpot is bringing this AEO grader inside your HubSpot portal. So if you're using HubSpot and you have your portal from the past, you have the SEO strategy section where you did your pillar pages and all these things. Now that SEO strategy is turning into an AEO strategy tool. So some of you may already have it as a beta. I would totally recommend checking it out because the AEO strategy allows you to check for multiple entities, allows you to understand multiple services. So you can do the same thing or similar things that you do with your AEO grader on a one-to-one, but test all the different entities at the same time and then see the historical to understand how that's growing. Like I said before, also now HubSpot has AI referral as a source, so you can understand where your visits are coming from AI, which ones are turning into leads, which ones are turning into clients, et cetera, et cetera. One of the things I forgot to share is the They Ask You Answer book. And generally, people ask me where they can find the book. They Ask You Answer is a methodology, and there's a book that I totally recommend you check it out. If you haven't read it, we read it constantly as part of our. We give it to all of our employees, the same as we give StoryBrand to all of our employees when they start. And we have book club, and they have gone through They Ask You Answer book club multiple times. Totally recommend it. The next thing I would say, go test this in AI. How are you showing up on AI? Go to ChatGPT and say, what do you know about this company? Put the name of your company. What are these people known for? What are they great about? What are they not good about? What are the reviews? What are people saying? What are the best services, products? What are the worst services and products? Again, understand how AI sees you. So you find the gaps of things you need to talk about. If you look at what ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gemini or even Google on the AI review are saying, and it's not accurate, and what your top products and services that you make money with don't show up, you need to do something about that. You need to write more about those specific things. Sometimes people, even I was reading the other day, people do 100 things and then they wonder why people don't understand what they specialize, or what AI doesn't understand what they specialize. If you've been talking about all these hundreds of things and now your company shift gears, if your website is not updated, if your content is not updated, if all your content is old from things you did in the past, and you're not talking about the things you're doing today, AI will not recognize you as an authority in those things. So update your website. Make sure those Q&As and FAQs are embedded in your service pages, in your main pages on your website, on your blogs. Answer your ideal clients' questions on your site, on your blogs, on your webinars, on your videos, so AI can pick that up and say the right things about you. One of the things we realized at the beginning of 2025 is that we didn't have enough content about ChatGPT, enough content about all the AI tools that we were using, because we were in the middle of this shift in 2023, 2024, and our website wasn't updated. We went and updated our website with all the AI tools that we use, with how we use AI to generate value for our clients, how we are helping clients show up in AI, not just Google. And that shift made ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google say completely different things about us, because now there's a service page, there's a product, there's content about it, there's webinars about it, and there's FAQs, questions from real humans about it, about every single one of those things. Any questions, guys? So I'll give you a 30-day, they ask you answer FAQ AEO plan. Now, in the guide that I'm going to share again in a second, and in our latest blog, you can see there's a 90-day week-to-week plan for AEO. So I would definitely recommend, like I said before, I'm going to share it again in a second, downloading that guide. But this is specifically about, they ask you answer about your FAQs and how you can do it. So first of all, mind your questions. You guys ask me, where do you find those questions? Extract those top 10 buyer questions from your sales calls, your CRM notes, your support tickets, your customer service team, whomever is customer, whoever you have talking to your clients, customer facing people, anybody that's customer facing will have 10 questions they get asked all the time from your clients. Get those questions, capture those questions, create a document at least. Map each one of those questions to entities. What are the services, the problems, the industries, the tools, the technologies, the methodologies, the product, anything connected to that. Map those things. So then you understand what questions and answers and what entities. Then start building that engine. Publish a they ask you answer blog that comes from some videos you had, or run a webinar and create a blog from that webinar. Take a transcript from a sales meeting and create a blog article, and then create 6 to 10 FAQ entries from your webinars, emails, sales conversations. You can use this on your top blogs, on your top pages. So make sure you capture all of this and start creating those FAQ sections for these pages. Now, structure for AI. Make sure the FAQ page schema and the author schema is included in those articles. Check your schema on your websites. We'll talk a lot more about schema on our next session in 2 weeks. Update your top 10 pages and your top 10 blogs. That will be your priority for the next 30 days. Is go to your top 10 blog articles, go to your top 10 pages, add some FAQs, check the schema, make sure these make sense. Service pages, blog articles, are there frequently asked questions you get about these specific articles that people are going to, that have to do with your entities, the ones that you actually want to sell products and services about. So make sure you focus. Because if you're thinking about your whole website, and you're like, okay, we need to redo your whole site. Well, yes, but if you fix your homepage, if you fix the footer of your main website, that fixes most pages. You include entities there. You include content that's related, the right links to the right things. If you make sure the schema is fixed on your footer and your blog structure, that fixes a lot of things. So focus your efforts in things that have big impact. And then test and retune, test all of this with the AEO grader, test it with, going to ChatGPT, going to Perplexity, asking those questions and seeing where you show up, where you don't show up. Include your entities, include the name of your company in a lot of these questions to understand where you show up. How are you connected with these things? And is AI seeing that you are answering these questions? Can you share the link for the schema webinar coming up? Yes, I will share the link for all 3 webinars coming up right here, right now. There you go. Shared. Thank you, Olivia. And then repeat, analyze, understand, and repeat. Continue to do. SEO, and of course now AEO, are things you do over time. This is not a one-off. This is not a 30-day thing. This is not a 1-week fix. This is an ongoing strategy to make things better over time. And things will continue to shift and change. Google AI sucked in the beginning, and we weren't even worried about it because everybody was like, the answer in Google is always wrong, so why would I even bother? Well, we were focusing on ChatGPT and other models. Now we're going back and making sure that Google is showing up the answer, and that's why we're using LinkedIn, and that's why we're using video, because we've seen that these are the right signals for AI. So constantly test, constantly understand, and make sure you can work with a partner like us. Make sure you understand on an ongoing basis how these things are changing. And it's not just about looking at your visits and your leads, because this is about your whole customer's journey. So understand how you show up. I literally go and you Google yourself, right? Like you do the same thing. You ChatGPT yourself to make sure you show up. So the key takeaways from this lesson: your brand is being explained by AI, with or without you. So make sure you know. If you don't answer your buyers' real questions, AI will guess for you, because AI will guess. Trust me. AI, when it doesn't know, it tries to find, and that's how it hallucinates and it says the wrong thing, because when the information is not there, it will guess. FAQs are how you teach machines who you are and what you do. They ask you answer is the right methodology for this, and it makes it easier for you to do it. Clarity beats cleverness in AI. Be the answer. Don't be loud. Don't be the answer. Answer humans' questions. Your ideal clients, real humans with real human experiences like this one, and you'll be showed up in AI. And the brands that win are the brands that are the clearest, most helpful, and most human. I can't say this enough. Be human. This is one of the most important things. AI does not want more regurgitated, content from AI. It wants your point of view. Why you? Why your company? Why your clients are happy? Why your solution is helping people, et cetera, et cetera. Rachel, you said big fan of the They Ask You Answer, and this was super helpful on how to start incorporating into AI. Thank you. No, thank you, Rachel. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for the feedback. Tell us 1 to 10, how did we do? How did I do today? Anything we can do to help or make this better for you guys? We want to know. We want to understand. As I said, there's the 3 events in the next couple of months that we're going to be running that I already shared the links. Also, as you know, you can connect with us. Here's my LinkedIn and our website in case you want to check it out. And again, I want to share both the guide that can tell you literally not only what we talked about today, but everything we've been talking about in the last 3-4 months. This is the SEO to AEO guide, how to become the answer in search and AI. Download the guide, definitely a good resource there. It also includes the 90-day plan. And this is our SEO AEO audit in case you guys want us to help you directly. So I know we don't have a lot of minutes, and I know you asked a lot of questions already. Olivia, I had many takeaways. Thank you for the real examples. Of course, I love that you guys are taking some good takeaways and you're taking some actions that you can do. Come to the next one, ask me questions, connect on LinkedIn. I'm here to help. Anybody wants to come off mute or anybody wants to put a question here on the chat, please let me know. I'm going to stay here for a couple of minutes. so everybody has their answer, their questions answers. This is the most important part of the puzzle. Answer your ideal clients' questions, guys. Come on, let's do it. Anybody has any questions? And again, thank you for being here. Without you, we wouldn't have questions to answer. So again, and if you realize of anything that is missing, not specifically from this article, I know I shared a lot of resources, and I will keep sharing resources. We'll share all the resources on an email also, so everybody has them. Please let me know if there's anything else we can do to actually improve these webinars, and if there's any topics that you guys have that we want us to cover, please let me know. All right, guys, any questions? Anybody wants to come up mute? I'm gonna stop sharing here. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week. Happy New Year again. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for the feedback. I love all the 10s. And again, if you want to connect or send me an email, here's my email too, in case you want to email me directly, and we'll go from there. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for showing up today, and have a great beginning of the year. Hopefully, I'll see you around. Show up to the next webinars, and we'll keep talking about this. We'll keep helping everybody as much as possible. Okay. Take it easy. Have a good one.